Hello everybody, welcome to Borderlands 3 and the series Smash or Trash, a series where we take various weapons throughout Borderlands and see whether or not they are smash or whether or not they are trash. And in this episode we are using the Lob, the once greatest weapon in the game, and before that one of the worst weapons in the game. The Lob, when it originally was released, it was one of the worst weapons in the game, consuming so much ammo and not doing any damage. And then when it was buffed / changed a little bit, it became one of the best weapons in the game for pretty much every single character, doing insane amount of damage with the cost of not a lot of ammo. Well, they've changed it a bit from it used to be a burst fire weapon to now it's just single fire, which honestly is a little bit better. And we're seeing whether or not is it still good since the changes to mayhem mode. Is it a weapon? We'll see. They did buff shotguns a little bit ago, so we'll see if this weapon is a smash or trash. I'm gonna say my initial predictions for this gun. I think it's a smash. I think just kind of like the gun itself is so good. It was so good before, and they buffed shotguns, so I'm feeling it's gonna be good again. Along with this build, the limit is consecutive hits. Our shield gives us cryo damage and action skill in. We get radiation damage from action skill in from our grenade. We're using Phase Zerger, which just gives us weapon damage and Mallet 1 fire rate. Then we're using Snowdrift Victory Rush. And our build is my Elemental Queen Ties That Bind build. Which again, anything really with Ties That Bind is good. But, I mean, there are certain weapons where even using Ties That Bind are good. So, you know, I think this is a gun review. And obviously, anything I use, anytime I phase lock someone, and, you know, Ties That Bind, they're going to take a whole bunch of damage. So this is going to show how much damage they take after I do that. Our Mayhem modifiers is Explosion. Killing enemy has a 10% chance to critical explosion. Critical hits guarantee an enemy will explode. And then post-mortem, so after we kill an enemy, there's a chance that a death-seeking skull will chase after us and blah blah blah. Anyway. Oh, I ran into that. So, yeah. I used to use this weapon a lot after it was buffed, and it's really fun. Even though that one resists shock, I was still able to kill it pretty easily. I mean, do we have to continue? Oh. Now the one problem this weapon has is actually second winds. Its range is very limited, and the projectiles travel really slowly. And if you're using like someone like, I don't know, Zane, or you're using the movement speed of our build, you can kill yourself. You can kill yourself with this regardless. But I think it's just one of those weapons you have to be careful with, because again, the projectiles travel so slow. But it does so much damage. This gun is like, it's like a rocket launcher in the form of a shotgun. And just with Amara makes the gun so much better. A character like Mose can also make this weapon useful too. Just all the splash damage and that she can put out. So I think, and also I think really any character can make this gun work. I think the one person I'd be like, yeah, would be Flak. But I think even on Flak you could be like, yeah, it could work. But yeah, I definitely like it on Amara because the amount of damage you can output, plus the fact that it's always elemental, is really good. And then Mose being able to work with splash damage, and the fact that you can just keep shooting and pretty much never run out of ammo because it consumes 1 ammo per shot, I think. Yeah, it consumes 1 ammo per shot, so you're just pretty much never gonna run out of ammo as long as you keep throwing grenades and getting crits and stuff. You know, it's just, weapon's good. Ooh, cool there. the reason I use this weapon was like to see whether or not it's as good as it used to be. I don't know if it's as good as it used to be. It may be better, but I can definitely tell you it's a good weapon, and it's probably one of the best shotguns in the game, hands down. I don't think there's really any ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think this is, if you're looking for shotgun options for Amara or Moze, you have your option right here. It's a great weapon. I think definitely pick it up. And you can just see how much. You'll be like, it's being skewed a little bit because ties that bind. Even without me using my phase locking people. And just the damage I get from after using it. This weapon's great. Like, we'll just use the boss. I'm not even gonna phase grasp him. I'm just gonna shoot him. And this is pretty much any like action skill and stuff or whatever, but also that's 5 million thing. Let's see what we get. We got Chupa's Oregon. Wow, and a victory rush. As you can see, like beforehand, you know, words are hard. English is hard, people. I was gonna say something and I totally forgot and blanked out. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know why I don't remember. If I remember what I was gonna say, I guess I'll say it again. But people will say that there's a problem with Amara and her damage that she can output, and then that there's also a problem with anointments in the game. And I do 100% agree that there's a problem with the anointments in the game, and that I do think Amara can she output a lot of damage? Sure, but I think all the ball hunters can output a lot of damage. So I think saying that just she can output a lot of damage because of phase grasp is a problem. But I also think the problem underlying there is that her other action skills aren't good. You know, face slam's not great, face cast isn't great. They don't really do anything, you know? So it's like, you know, so it's like, well, obviously you're gonna use ties that bind and phase grasp because the other ones just don't do anything. So you're kind of just like, well, the only thing that really does something is ties that bind. I think that's just Gearbox needs to buff those other action skills. You know, do something to them that makes them more usable. Because the only thing they're really used for is proccing your end of, you know, action skill into anointments or stuff. Like, I used to use face cast all the time back when the game came out. And, I mean, I mainly used it just to hit bosses, debuff them, and then proc my stuff. But, I mean, ties that bind, you know, phase grasp is just so much better that it just doesn't, I don't know, it just feels like you're in this position where it's just like, you know, you have to use that. Plus also going down the red tree is just really strong because you get the healing, you get a whole bunch of elemental damage, and then you get the ricochet, you know, because when your people are phase grasp, your bullets ricochet, but you just get so much damage from that tree regardless, and so much just benefits that it just like going down the green tree, there's not really a point unless you're doing spiritual driver Amara, you know. So it's just the red and blue trees would just seem stronger for just that reason. But is this going to be your fastest weapon for bossing? Probably not. But also, to be fair, he does resist fire damage, so that's a big part. But still, I mean, if you wanted to know whether or not this gun is still good, you can just witness it for yourself right here. And we got a Tankman shield, great. Yeah. So, the lob. It's great. This weapon's amazing. Definitely, I think this weapon smashes. I mean, if you couldn't tell just from my initial thoughts of it before you even start killing stuff, it was gonna smash. I haven't used this weapon in a while because there's a whole bunch of other weapons that I just wanted to use, and because when this weapon got its buff, I used this weapon a lot. It was this one. You had lob, you had the Cutsman. Those are pretty much really all there was, right? For Amara, like, your best weapons used was the lob and the Cutsman. There's some other weapons you can use. You know, Tsunami's pretty good, which I kind of want to do a Tsunami review, but I have to go and farm per Tsunami too. But yeah, mainly it was just kind of weapons that you really don't see very often anymore for this. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, guys. But anyway, for this series, I wanted to use weapons that people haven't really used or haven't seen in a while. The lob is one of those weapons that people just haven't used in a bit, and not necessarily because it's not good, it's because there's a whole bunch of other new weapons that people just want to use and test out. Yeah, the recursion was used a lot because it was just such a really high damage outputting weapon, and that was kind of used over this. Or this one, yes, I mean, because it can kill multiple mobs. Well, this one's a single target, but it just does so much damage, I think, just... You know, you can kill so much stuff with this. And also with that build, the Cutsman too. The Cutsman with the lob, you have those two weapons and back then for that build. But yeah, no one's seen lob very often. Same thing for Cutsman. I might do a Cutsman review too to see whether or not is the Cutsman still good. Answer is probably yes. The Cutsman's it's going to be decent, but I don't know. It's not going to out damage the Chaosin or the Flipper, but I think the guns can still do a lot of damage. I think other SMGs in the game, there's a lot of good and decent SMGs in the game. A lot of them need buffs. If you want to go look at my other series, Crossroads needs a buff, and the DNA needs a buff. I think Hyperfocus needs another buff. I think a lot of SMGs in the game, a lot of Maliwan SMGs too, just need buffs. Westergun I think needs a buff. The Devoted needs another buff. I think Devoted also just needs a buff to reload speed, because that gun has crazy reload speed. That's the point. I think there's a few SMGs that do need a lot of buffs. I think some assault rifles need buffs in this game too, but that's not for this video. This video is talking about the lob, and whether or not it smashes or if it's trash. It's a smash. This weapon is amazing. Go ahead and get yourself a lob, use it. Doesn't matter what anointment you have, because this weapon is good regardless of the anointment, because it just does so much damage. Pick one up and test it for yourself. And if there's any other weapons you want to see me review, make sure to leave a comment below and tell me. If you want me to show my builds, my builds for my characters, also let me know. That's something I've been thinking about doing. Showing off my Amara, showing off my Moze. Not my flak, because my flak is actually someone else's build. I can also show off my build for Zane, but mainly the one build that I kind of just did by myself completely was Amara. I did that with Moze too, but I kind of took inspiration from other people's builds too. But it was mainly I looked at it, and this is kind of what I wanted to do. So if you want to know any more about builds, and if you want to see them, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I guess just if you want to see any other content from this game, let me know. I'll make sure to put it out as soon as I can. You know, so yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to my channel and you enjoyed my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would highly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.